All right, financial math classes. Lesson today is about overtime pay. So let's talk about what overtime pay is. So when you work more than the regular number of hours, you may earn overtime pay. The overtime rate is usually called time and a half. In California, your overtime pay is 1.5 times your hourly rate. That is by California law. When we work through these problems, this 1.5 times, instead of using the 1.5 mixed number, it's going to be a lot easier to use 1.5 when we're calculating things. Keep that in mind. So when you work more than regular hours, you're entitled to overtime pay for certain jobs. In California, just so you know, the state law is if you work more than 8 hours a day, you get overtime pay for any hours over 8 hours, or if you work more than 40 hours in a week, you get overtime pay. There's some jobs where you can have an alternative work schedule. So for example, my wife works an alternative work schedule where she'll work 10-hour days. She doesn't get overtime pay for the 2 hours over 8. She'll start earning overtime when she works more than 10 hours a day. But that's alternative work schedule. So usually people in like a medical profession, like nurses, will work alternative work schedules. So how you calculate overtime pay? So we have Alan is paid $8.20 an hour for a regular 40-hour week as a restaurant host. His overtime pay is 1.5 times. So remember, instead of using the 1.5, we are going to use 1.5. His regular work hours. This week he worked 40 hours plus 10 hours of overtime. What is his total pay? So first thing you need to do when figuring out the total pay, you need to find his straight time pay, just what he earned before overtime. So his hourly rate, which was $8.20, so 8.2, times his regular hours worked, which was 40. So multiply that out. 8 times 2 times 40, or 8.2 times 40 is 328. So straight time pay without overtime, he earned $328. Then find the overtime rate. So to find out how much he earns overtime, we're going to need I'm going to put some parentheses in here. So the overtime rate, you're going to do 8.2, which is his normal rate, times 1.5. And then you multiply that times that number of hours of overtime, so times 10. So this is the overtime rate times how much overtime he worked. So multiply that all out. So 8.2 times 1.5 times 10, you get 123. And then the total he worked, so the straight time pay, so 328, plus his overtime pay. So 328 plus 123 is equal to 451. So you earned a total of $451. So let's look at another example like that. If you want, go ahead and pause the video and try to work this out yourself. And then check your answer when you're done. But I'm going to go ahead and go through it. So first thing I'm going to find is his straight time pay. So I'm just going to do STP for straight time pay. That's going to be his hourly rate, $9 times 40 hours. So 9 times 40 is 360. Sorry, that got a little sloppy. His overtime. I'm just going to put in OT or overtime. That's going to be 9 times 1.5 times 6. 9 times 1.5 times 6 is 81. And then his total pay is 360 plus 81, 441. So you earned a total of $441. So next lesson, Jessica Cooper is a receptionist at a hotel and conference center. She's paid $12.50 an hour for regular 40-hour week. Her overtime pay is 1.5, which is 1.5 times her regular hourly rate. This past weekend, she earned $612.50 in total pay. How many hours of overtime did she work? So we want to know how many overtime hours, so we're going to make an equation with this. Her total pay was $612.5. Her straight time pay is her hourly rate times how many hours she works, so $12.50 times 40. Plus her overtime rate, so that's going to be $12.50 times 1.5 times H, because we don't know how many hours she worked. And so now we need to solve this equation. So you get 612.5 is equal to 12.5 times 40 is 500. Plus 12.5 times 1.5 is 1875. And trying to find how many hours she worked. So solve this. First thing I'm going to do is subtract 500 from both sides. So 612.5 minus 500 is 112.5. Plus 500 minus 500 cancels out, and then you get 18.75 times H. Last thing you need to do, just divide by 18.75. So 112.5 divided by 18.75 comes out to 6. She worked a total of 6 overtime hours. So last problem. Go ahead, try to work this, pause the video, try to work it out by yourself and check your answer when you're done. I'm gonna go ahead and work through it now. Corey earns $11.80 per hour, 40-hour week, 1.5 times, so 1.5 is regular hourly rate. He earns $613.60. So it's gonna be $613.60 is gonna be equal to the straight time pay, which is $11.80 times 40, plus overtime pay, which was $11.80 times 1.5, and we're trying to figure out how many hours he worked. So 11.80, 11.8 times 40 is 472. Plus 11.80 times 1.5 is 17.7. Make that look a little bit better. So from here, just solve for H. So I'm going to subtract 472 from both sides. So 613.6 minus 472 is 141.3. So $141.30 equal to 17.7, and then divide by 17.7. This cancels out here. So 141.3 divided by 17.7 is 7.98. So let me get the black pen. 7.98 is equal to H. For this, what you want to do, I made a mistake somewhere. Hold on. 613.6 minus 472. I wrote this. This is 141.6. Oops. So 141.6 divided by 17.7 comes out to 8. Yeah, that looks better. Okay. My mistake. Wrote something down wrong. Don't know why that happened. But there we go. Comes out to 8. And we are done. So your assignment is worksheet 1.2. You can find it in the classwork. Use Kami to fill in the answers, and then make sure you check the answer key before turning in your work.